Hi, everybody, and welcome back to World's Okayest Writer. I am J.W. Orchard, author of the Proactive series. And as always, you can get your copy in the link below, sign up for the Dead Drop newsletter, and get even more stuff. So today's topic is going to be about do I do an outline or do I just wing it? Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. And by the way, of course, today's topic again is do I outline or do I just wing it? Well, we're going to talk about both of those. Now, John Truby. John Truby is a believer in laying out an outline. Okay, so there's plotters versus pantsers. By the way, John Truby's book, The Anatomy of a Story, is very good. I do have a copy of it. I have read it. I suggest picking up a copy of it. It's got a lot of really good information. I'll put a link down in the description below. But anyways, back to our topic. Okay, so what we're going to talk about plotters, right? And they create an outline before they begin. You know, right? They map out all the major events and characters and the ending, right? So it's like, okay, pretty much, all right. We follow this little trail, right? And hopefully we'll end up at the end and it'll work out. Then you have a group called the Pansters, right? Pantsers. Thusly, writing by the seat of your pants, right? They start with the idea and discover the story later on, okay, as they write. So I'm a pantster, right? I kind of let my characters lead the way. I'll come up with a concept, and because let's take for example the Proactive series, because I've developed the characters enough, I know now when I write a book, like okay, they would do this or they would do this, they would do this, right? Their characters kind of drive how the story goes. But I kind of do. I do in a sense. I don't actually write down an outline. I have an idea in my head, and I'm one of those people that writes to the end. Like I know the ending scene I want to get at, and I work my way to that end. If that works for you, that's great. Remember when I started writing, I had no idea what I'm doing. Some of you have read my stuff, may think I still don't know what I'm doing. But I've been writing now for, I don't know, 12 years or so. All right. And I've written, I don't know, 3 series and a bunch of books. But, anyways, so uh, that being said, right? So there's strengths and weaknesses for both. Right, you plotters, right? They can usually avoid the major like plot holes, like oh, okay, this doesn't make any sense at all, right? Because they know you know exactly where your story's going. One episode I talked about writer's block, right? So they really don't. I mean, they do and they don't. Um, you know, Panster, right? We talked about writer's block about going down a blind alley, right? Oh well, I didn't expect that because well, my characters did this, and you have to work things out, but it's okay. But Pansters have their advantage because they do produce a more spontaneous and surprising story. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming. All right, probably because you, as the writer, didn't see it coming either until later. But right, you might need significant rewrites, right, after you discover the way your story's going. And that is, you start off, okay, I have this idea, this is the end I want, but then as you go down, you're like, ooh, I've got to change that. One thing happened in the Out of Purgatory series that really was surprising because I had written the characters in a way and I had written the story in a way. I got to the end and I was like, okay, there's this one character that's kind of hanging out there. But I figured it out because how I wrote the story, it worked out really well for the ending. I did have the ending scene in mind, but it was the chapter before they was like, oh, this is how this is going to go. And it worked out. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, or God protects all ladies, babies, and fools. Yes, I mentioned God. All right, sue me. But it just depends, right? So it's what your style is, right? So you got to find what fits your personality. You the, one thing you do, there is no right or wrong approach. At least I don't think there is, right? There's some people out there like, oh, okay, I'm only going to do outlines and be a plotter. And there's some that like wholeheartedly believe they're going to be a pantser. What seems to happen though is the more experienced writing you get, you kind of become a pantser, but you settle kind of this middle ground, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, where I have done outlines or working on an outline for a current book I'm working on, but it's not a really detailed outline. It's like, okay, I want to hit this beat, or I want to hit this beat, or I want to hit this beat, right? But I'm going to let the characters kind of flow. And I started writing it, and I was like, all right, I had this idea. I was like, oh, well, no, this character would act this way versus this or whatever. Okay. So the long and short of it, right? You can do both. The important thing is, though, come with your idea for the story, and remember, it's your idea. It's okay. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So, of course, as always, we have the tip of the day. Okay. Keep this in mind. An outline should guide your story, not imprison you. All right. Because we go, oh my God, if I don't follow this exactly, look, we're not back in high school where they're going to slap your wrist. Well, I think they did that in high school, but all right, you're not going to be condemned because you didn't follow the outline correctly. This is your story. This is your creation. You can do what you want with it. So, keep that in mind. All right. Keep writing. Keep enjoying. I do really appreciate the fact that you all, again, have spent some time with me today. And as always, don't forget to write.